sunk an enemy destroyer.
Hey team, this is Ripper here. You guys doing fantastic today. Got a fun video with the Ragnar, and we just recently did a video with the Sevilla, and really good ship. But man, we have to do some service to the Ragnar and give it some props because this thing is a brawler killer, as the title of the video says. And we got to display some of its firepower and showcase it. But before we begin, if you see value in the channel, like, subscribe, bell button below. Appreciate all the supporters of the channel and making it into what it is. At the next 4,000 subs, we're going to do a premium giveaway. And we can't thank you guys enough about talking about ships, sailing ships, shooting ships, and having a blast at the same time and building a good community to make it friendly, fun, and enjoyable. So let's get right to it. What is the Tier 10 Ragnar? Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's a European Special Premium Tier 10 destroyer that is was based on this main tactical unit of the Swedish fleet to be a squadron of several destroyers. The Tre Kronar class cruisers acted as squadron leaders in the 1940s. The construction of a special squadron leader was considered. On March 21st, 1947, three draft designs were presented with a standard displacement of 2,400, 3,000, and 4,660 tons. The largest of the three projects was a lightly armored and armed with two twin gun mounts housing 152mm dual-purpose guns. The Ragnar was released in the armory for 27,000 steel in 2021. So really awesome ship. Definitely recommend getting it. You can see right there. Here's the bread and butter of the guns. Of the ship is the guns, 152 millimeters. Damage is 2,200, 900 meters per second coming out of that barrel. 11% fire chances. You're going to see a lot of that happening today, as well as armor penetration, 30 millimeters, which I do very, very enjoy. I like the penetration of 30 mil and above, as well as the firing range out to 15.6 kilometers. As you can see, a full gun build. Now, of course, not necessarily full reload build, but the best gun build range that I can really kind of control. And obviously, I believe you can even get this thing out even further if you did want to build for it. But really, I just wanted to focus on maybe the 15.6 kilometer range, because after that, it gets a little difficult to start aiming. I think 15 kilometers is a very comfortable range to fire, as well as a safe range for you, as well as you maintain this nice 3-second reload in the commander build, as you can see later at the video. And it's going to be very awesome, the amount of firepower and what we can do with it to really mitigate an enemy push, as well as defend against these brawling ships. And you can see the AA is pretty darn decent at close range. And here, right off the bat, we get spotted. And here's the bread and butter of the Ragnar. It's 7.5 kilometer radar, which lasts about 25-ish seconds, which it gives you enough time to do this much damage to our counterpart here, which is the Trump. Trump also has some big 150 millimeter guns. And unfortunately, they are very slow turning, slow traversing, and really difficult to, fire back against a Ragnar that's blasting you with radar, even though you out-conceal and spot me. The Trump is really sluggish, very slow, in my personal opinion. Not the most maneuverable ship in there, but once it's spotted, man, it is difficult to break this contact with the Ragnar. And let's see if we can get some aiming going here. I mean, I'm bad at aiming. I don't know, something about the aiming on these games lately has been weird. And do we get this guy? And boom, there it is. First blood, first kill. Splash 1, 22,000 damage. And then we take out our destroyer. What is the role of a good destroyer player? You want to eliminate the enemy destroyers right off the bat to give your team some kind of a confidence that they can push in and not be threatened by either torpedoes, airstrikes, guns, and yada, 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 so forth. But actually, here is another bread and butter of the Ragnar. It focuses on main battery guns, where you can just literally aim and just try to walk your shells onto the target and just slowly get that damage on there, on target, on center line, getting that consistent hits so that you start a lot of fires, you get a lot of damage in, as well as you get the enemy to open fire on you. Notice that the Schlieffen probably is looking at me, and I wonder if he will shoot at me, and that's my goal as a good destroyer player. I want to take as many shots from the enemy team as possible. Notice that my potential damage is clicking up right there. 100,000 potential damage. It means we are drawing tons of fire. Yes, he did fire us, ladies and gentlemen, but the Ragnar is excellent at dodging. Notice that engine boost right here also gives you plus 30% going back and through throttle juking, and it is very, very difficult from 12 kilometers and beyond to hit a moving Ragnar that is throttle juking back and forth. And you really, as a battleship player, so you get that tunnel vision. Look, he's getting shot at by every other player, and yet he is still willing to fire at me because we are that much of a threat to him. And yep, he fires again, and boom, he goes down. Second kill of the game. Splash 2, 45,000 damage right there. And here's the other problem. Here's one problem I've seen in the Ragnar. Very, very slow against the torpedoes. If these were faster torpedoes, man, it is difficult to really outmaneuver and really kind of thread the needle, if you will. With the Ragnar, I find it very, very difficult. Again, the Ragnar is very large, very sluggish. However, it can hold its own. I think it handles a lot better than Sevilla because as Sevilla is classified as a cruiser, but Ragnar is kind of that mid to large destroyer, almost borderline light cruiser kind of build. It has this kind of that Worcester gun mentality on a small package that allows you to become this destroyer that goes around mopping destroyers up, also defending against these large battleship pushes. Notice that we've already taken out one brawling ship, a Schlieffen. Here comes another Schlieffen that actually wants to take us on and actually push in. Now, the good thing is we're going to be the brunt of the firepower here. We're going to see if we can draw fire to keep our GK that is there. Our Minotaur is also there. Our Prussian is there. We want to keep them alive as much as possible. I know a lot of destroyer players don't think about that, but you do realize if you keep your teammates alive, you tend to keep, the odds in your favor of winning the game. So I kind of want to do the best I can to absorb as much damage. And notice I've said that I'm absorbing damage as a destroyer player. You would think as a battleship player you'd be doing it, right? But no, actually, as a destroyer player, it's really hard to hit you. So why not be that guy that gets shot at the most, because it's really hard to hit you. So, we're going to draw as much fire as we can. Unfortunately, our GK is so low health that he's probably the most prime target right there. If he had more health, I don't know if they would actually be the prime target. But now we're going to start laying waste in the Schlieffen. Now, notice he's at about 50k of health right here. We're just right at the borderline of his secondary, so his secondaries go out to 12.5. So we're just hugging the edge of that, and notice that I'm throttle juking and also moving my vector of left and right to keep those AI secondary controlled guns always guessing, always maneuvering at the center of my ship. So it's their shots are always being thrown off. So again, I'm always maneuvering, always changing something about the targeting computer of the Schlieffen and the World of Warships so that we're not always taking hits, but we're also taking the brunt of the damage. Notice we're at 990,000 potential. I said if you go above 1 million, you are annoying, and you are actually doing your job. So we're doing that. We're trying to hold A as long as possible for our brunt of our force here at Charlie to slowly push in. Notice that we're keeping everybody busy at Alpha, so they're so distracted that they're going to totally forget about the push. They're going to totally forget all the objectives. They're just focusing on, can we kill this Ragnar, the most annoying guy on the team? And that's why I like it so much. Again, we don't have any torpedoes to mitigate these threats. We're really just focusing on one bread and butter thing, which is the guns, using engine boost, throttle juke back and forth. And of course, the radar there is to just defend off destroyers that try to hunt you down or try to torp you. It's really as a defensive weapon I use it for, because I really don't hunt down destroyers in the Ragnar. Throwing away your ship isn't really my preference nowadays, especially until I've eliminated at least a few ships on my enemy team or over here or on my sector that I'm guarding. So here we go. Again, about a 50,000 HP on the GK right now. So we're just going to focus, like I said, bread and butter is just fire at the center of his superstructure, get that ship damage, get those hits, and then also start fires on the main superstructure. If we can get 2 fires going, that's great. We also are taking shots from him. Again, we throttle juke again. We move forward, and we throw off his shots. Boom, right there. Buff kiss for him. Really doesn't do much. And again, he wasted a shot on that, and guess what? He's going to pay the ultimate price for it. Boom, splash 3. He goes down. 95,000 damage. Now we're going to focus on the other secondary brawling ship, which is the new Libertad, whatever you want to call it. It's basically a, new player's kind of a secondary brawling ship, because all you got to do is push in, hit the W key, and just let the computer do all the work for you. However, I've noticed that if you really just, stay around the 12-kilometer range, even with his funny button, I find that the secondaries have a difficulty shooting out to about the 12 to 13-kilometer range. Now, don't get me wrong, they will hit you and still do some damage, but you can mitigate a lot of that if you're throttle juking around 12 to 13. I find that is a good, nice, comfortable area for me to avoid a lot of damage. And again, also, if you're also being bombarded by at least 2 ships or more in the Libertad, it is very, very easily burnable. It's easy to kill in that sense, and you just got to maintain your distance. Now, notice he switched his firing computer to now us. So again, we're drawing a lot of that fire. Even with his funny button, he can still reach out to 14 kilometers. Now, we're going to try to egress the area and not always, stay one-on-one with the Libertad, because, again, you can slowly die to it, especially since I don't have any more heals and I don't have any more engine boost. So let's focus on the next guy who's the lowest health right here, which is the Schlieffen. And the Schlieffen, of course, at 17,000, very easily managed to kill with him. You don't want to take long sustained fire at this range. Again, around the 10-kilometer range, Schlieffen secondaries are wild, so you want to really avoid that. Now, he fires at us again. Ooh, not until he gets blacked by the Republic. We take a left turn, and ouch. See, like I said, those shells do hurt. Now, again, we don't have any heals anymore. And of course, those secondaries do hurt us after long periods of time. Again, around that 10-kilometer range, very bad. Anything less than 12, I've noticed that is very, very difficult to juke and dodge. And a lot of players are very good at aiming around that 10-kilometer, 11-kilometer mark, which is fairly easily done. I would rather keep those standoff distances around the 12 to 13-kilometer range. If you want to build it to 15, that's fine. And 14 is my sweet spot. I like to keep it around there because it's out of secondary range and it's still bearable or easily aimable. So let's speed this up. Where are we going right here? So we've got 3 guys now. Look at the potential damage right here. Up to 1.9 million potential damage. We are double annoying right here in my book. So we've pretty much eliminated the push at alpha, held off our own, and that is the power of what the Ragnar can do. And just going in there, taking everybody to town, and now we're spotting the gearing. Now, that was why we kept the radar at the very last there, because as soon as we get spotted there, the 7.5 detection on the Ragnar, as soon as we get spotted, boom, we pop the radar. Enemy gets detected. Only thing left he has to do is fire and reveal his position. He can't pop smoke. He can't do anything, and he's really just going to wait and get blasted by us, and boom, there it is, splash 4. This thing is a killer, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Brawler Killer and also Captain Tester and Controller with the radar abilities and just the big honking guns. And it is so freaking powerful. It really just takes the enemy off their feet. And, you know, you really can do a lot of annoying damage in the sense of not only with the guns, but also the ability to just take the amount of firepower at you, which we crossed the 2 million potential mark right there. We take that brunt of the fire. Can we get the Kraken? Oh, no, we didn't get it. Almost got it. But like I said, being able to take 2 million potential damage took it away from our friendlies getting shot at, which means that our friendlies are surviving, and that is what you want to do as a good destroyer player, because you want to keep your friendlies alive because they will help you, okay? You don't want them to die so fast, and hopefully we get this last kill. Alvaro de Bazan, and let's see here, Alvaro de Bazan, 3,000 HP. We can definitely wipe this. This will be the Kraken, right? Come on, guys. Get me the Kraken. Shell is in the air. Come on, ouch, and he got blapped right by the main kablammy right there. So, hey, you know what? 4 kills. I'll keep that in my book. We held off an entire pushing flank at Alpha, even with the help of a couple other buddies of ours. But, man, this thing is ridiculous. I love it. Ragnar is one of my favorite destroyers out there. Definitely get it for steel in the armory. 152,000 damage. It's got decent today. It can hold its own. 4 kills. A lot of fires. A lot of cap contesting. We did capturing the points. We're spotting for our friendlies. And we're doing the bulk of the work there. And look at that, number 1 in the team. Because guess what? We did our job, okay? Doing your job, doing your freaking job gets you high in the leaderboards and good win rates and good PR. So 107,000 with the guns. Fires, 45,000 damage. And, man, we did shoot some planes down. 14,000 on that. Look at that spotting damage. We were still a spotter. As a big honking destroyer, we are spotting for our team to shoot at 68,000 right there with 2 million potential damage and capturing points and defending points as well. And look at that. Bulk of the team destroyed by us, and we did the destroyer roll. We killed the 2 brawling ships, and we also scared off a Libertad right there, taking 39,000 damage off of him and causing him to run away. So you don't have to kill the guy. You just got to get the guy to run away and get scared of you, and that's the power of the Ragnar. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, bell button below. Appreciate all the supporters of the channel. Until next time, if you see me out there, say hi, and you guys stay safe, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care. Cheers.